Chris, how are you? And you got
Doing
interesting
great.
topic because we're going to talk AI. I love it. Let's go.
Yeah, what I really wanted to talk about is brand differentiation in the age of AI and how you can really stand out and ultimately talk about that intellectual property, right? Because it seems like nowadays, and correct me if I'm wrong, Neil, we're all, some of us who really starting to use AI, we're just throwing stuff in there. The ideas that we're coming up, they're fantastic ideas, but how do we take what AI has helped assist us with and really turn that into powerful products and actually ultimately revenue at some point, right? This was something that I was helping another client figure out. They're a security firm, and their whole goal is to help companies get back to their security postures, right? Make sure they're compliant. But they were like, "There's so many forms. It's all super complicated. Let's streamline this using a chat bot." And that's what they did. And we actually worked with them to build out the UI UX of that bot, implement it using AI, and ultimately it makes that security person in that firm a lot easier to do their compliance. So that's where the company didn't lead with AI; it just used AI to really enhance services. And I think that's the big differentiator that I want to talk about today is like AI is not your regurgitation copy pasta machine, right? You should ultimately really be refining and reworking these ideas and having human input. I'm sure you could probably see the same where you throw something
You
in
totally,
AI
you
and
totally
hope
can. It
that
could be if you throw things into AI, okay, and you throw things in AI and say, right, let's just talk about any local business. Let's talk about, hey, they're an insurance agency, right? And you go ahead and it's local and you want to write up something, say, I want to blog on so and so. It's going to be garbage. Why?
oh
You
sure.
didn't get you didn't give any information. It's going to give you a decent outlook, but it's sure as heck going to be cookie cutter. You might see that same blog on 20 different websites. And because
Right.
there are a lot of people creating AI all the time, throwing not any information that's good information about the person, the brand. All they're doing is throwing, hey, create a topic on this topic, create a topic on this topic.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
there's nothing putting any input from that organization, from what makes them special into the product. I don't know how many people are doing that. I'm sure there's thousands overseas doing it.
Yeah.
That is regurgitated crap. And
Yeah,
it used to be cool.
crap in, crap out. Right. Absolutely. I was actually looking at a sort of overseas marketing firm and sort of looking at what their proposal was. And I could tell as an AI user that it was an AI generated proposal. And for me, even as an AI user, it turned me off because I could tell that there wasn't that human input or human intent. Right. So that's what I want to get back to is how can you make sure as a brand, you're still keeping that human authenticity, but just using AI as a
See,
complement.
and I'm going to be honest, I customize my proposals using AI, but I'm plugging in what I want first
Right.
and have them customize this. I'm not saying, hey, create a marketing proposal for this. And you know for a fact, how are you able to tell that, Chris? This is a great feedback question. You like my proposals, I take the information and have AI write it and customize it to make it look really good. How could you tell that overseas one was not really putting their input in enough?
Well, for one, it has to do with the language, right? I really do look at is this really written by a computer or did someone actually, craft these sentences? And I think you can tell that there's a language in AI that's very, like I would call it a flight attendant mode, like where it's like, here is the logical steps of this and that, la la la. We as humans, we're much more direct in our approach and what we're talking about and getting straight to the point. We're not going to
You know what might be
lollygag
sad,
around the
Chris?
point.
They might be using a free AI software.
Well,
Yeah,
generally, that's
free.
what most folks
Not
are using.
ChatGPT 4 is very tough now to
Mhm.
tell if it was written by a human or not a human,
Right,
especially when you put human input at first. Do you think that's
right.
the big thing? Human input first?
That, and I think there's a misconception in the public, and we just had a guest that talked about this on one of our other podcasts. Was how to prompt properly is something that a lot of I think early users probably haven't figured out yet. So for me, I've actually found there's a website, and I think you love this. It's called, there's an AI for that. It's called TAF. TAF.com. You could go on and you could find an AI agent for whatever specific, business domain or whatever, project or thing you're working on. So I don't just throw anything and everything in the chat GPT anymore. I'm actually finding specialized tools now to actually enhance the work that I'm doing. So, there's an SEO specific tool. I'll use that one. Or if there's a video generation one, that's going to perform better than OpenAI's regular one, right? Mid Journey, that's a big one that's like blowing up the scene, right? So I would encourage a lot of people to, one, figure out how to prompt engineer or write your input properly, because the computers only do what we tell it to.
Right.
I grew up in the era of zeros and ones. That was binary, and you
All
had to
right.
transfer that to logic. So
So you could tell that it was such regurgitated information that was just basic. There was nothing specialized about their. That means they just said, "Hey, create a or this is what they could do because they're not prompt engineers."
right.
So really, I think that the biggest thing about AI or anything, a human input, is you better know your business. You
Mm-hmm.
better know all these different things. AI can create the greatest business plans in the world, create the greatest things in the world. But if you don't give your human ideas and your human uh, research and human eyes everything, it's going to be garbage.
Yeah.
I think that's a mistake. I guess from day one, I never did that stuff. I figured it
Well, I ran across an individual on LinkedIn actually. Apparently, he runs 24 startups all through AI agents and those sort of things. And it was a big discussion. It was like blew up as a post. And one of the things I was looking at was 24 companies is a lot of companies. How can you manage that much time? Okay, you got AI and all these systems, but does each company really have true value and like differentiability that it's actually making you sales? Not just like $100 in this business and $100 there, but like, are they going to be multi-million-dollar businesses? So that's the thing. Like, I know we've talked about before, having an AI agent or as a CEO, right? At some point, which means kind of becomes a decision maker. But I don't. There's too much context. You can't replace a human decision
See,
maker.
I see. I'm about saying
Unfortunately,
I disagree. It can, but you have to be so good at prompting.
there you
But
go. You have your
the
data
human,
has to be so on point.
so on point. And like I created a business plan for a client. It took 3 hours that would take 3 weeks. So there's the difference, but we did put information in from
Right.
their old business plan. I don't know people that are doing what they're doing because I just don't run into them. They don't use that human touch in their
Yeah.
in their product. But I think that that's the thing is people like I remember getting a guy on before. I made so and so my CEO. And then he started, and I asked him what his product differentiate was. 60,000 people were doing the same product. Or it wouldn't be 60,000, but there's so many marketers
You're
out there.
right. Exactly.
You have to be able to differentiate yourself. And this is the thing. I could share something, and I guess I'm going to share this with the audience, or I'll just give a little quick overview, and I want to go you back to you. Is I literally was on a call with a client creating differentiators in a sales call using ChatGPT, showing them. And when I did that, I first said, what are their competitors? Plugged in their website information, said, what are their competitors? They plugged in the competitors.
Right.
Fantastic thing, but I'm giving input, right? I'm not going out by saying, okay, AI, I have this company and this is their tagline, or they're a healthcare company. Tell me their competitors. That's not giving enough input. I did that.
No.
Then I asked, how can they crush their competition? That's what I asked. It gave me the answer. Then I said, what if you partner with Neil, the media giant Haley, and syndicated radio show, which you get, Chris, all these different things with this with UX Bright podcast and Savant podcast. What would it be? And it hit boom, 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 no brainer. And then I asked, what if it wasn't me? Well, here's still some of the differentiators. So it was a very interesting thing, but
Mm.
I used AI, but I used a human ideas and human technique. So I
Same.
think that's where even you, who's a technology guy, might still think a human being's better. I'm going to say you need both. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. We need both, right? We're going to use the AI to help assist us to make the things and make our lives a little easier, but you need to have that authentic intent, know and listen to your customer, know what the AI is spitting out and make sure it's correct. There's nothing to say that if you get writer's block, can't use AI and go help you out with a little SEO, right? So
No, no. So you see, AI is like having Neil Patel, Eric Sue, uh, Gary V, all if you prompt it correctly and giving you where you would have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their consulting services. However, if you don't know what the hell to ask
and the
Gary
next
V
question.
or anybody else, it doesn't freaking matter.
Yeah.
So, like when somebody says, well, I just saw so and so post on YouTube and you got it from AI. Why is AI better? Because AI is better than some people.
Yeah, if you
But
are
you have to
wholly
ask them, how do you
uncreative,
optimize SEO for this YouTube video where the correct hashtags based on the information I gave you? Now, did I have a structured 3 hour call with them? No. But you can do that with AI. But
yeah,
people aren't doing that yet.
yeah, and one of the things that people should think about too is, especially as they're building businesses or products, especially here at UX Bright, one of the things that we're looking at helping folks out with is if you do find that unique idea and you're starting to build it and it's not completely built on AI, start creating your patents, your either your product or process patents to really start solidifying your competitive advantage, right? So once you differentiate yourself from the voice, which we just talked about, now let's follow up on the legal side, right? If you create this cool platform, the next Uber, the next whatever it is, you need to be able to protect that. And nothing's going to protect that and protect you against AI than a good patent attorney. So I always recommend, sit down and talk with them because even though you may have some good concepts using AI and it helped you maybe with product development and those sort of things, now we need to really get to the point where if you're going to submit something for the product patent office, you need to ultimately differentiate the technology because they're looking at everything that's coming out right now and they're like, it's harder and harder to patent processes because everyone's copying it, and now AI is just
Patent attorney,
taking it
see,
somewhere
this is
else.
where I'm going to get in trouble. Your patent attorney's AI. However, you better have knowledge to ask that patent attorney to really give information. So this is again the prompting. So for example, you could have divorce attorneys, you could have contracts, you have everything created. But if you don't have a clue what to ask AI, you're never going to get there because they're going to think you're stupid.
Yeah,
That's the other thing is AI has a brain. It's the amount of prompts and to get to know the human being. If you're not introducing yourself to AI and become AI's best friend, you're not going to get the information you want.
yeah, absolutely. It's all about, yeah. I mean, we are the original creators, right? We gotta set the path forward. We gotta tell it what to do and lay out the instruction. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes it doesn't know the instruction all the way.
So
That's
let me give you
how
an
we should love
example.
it.
I don't ever will ever go to Google for any instructions ever again. I'll go to AI. And that means it's ridiculously like, okay, there's a big problem, big challenge. You're having a crisis, a health issue, anything. You go to AI, forget Google. Google's 5 steps more. They might think that little AI generated thing at the
Yeah.
top makes enough. No, it doesn't. You want a step by step process. So, for example, I just landed a client. We are going to produce on Riverside, not did Riverside ever, went in, said, give me the Riverside
Hmm.
instructions. We decided to move to something else after we saw it was a complex situation where I could figure it out, but my client had challenges. But if it wasn't for I knew exactly how that tool worked, everything. Well, if you Googled how to use Riverside, you're not even from the company going to figure out what AI could do for you. That's where the game changer is.
Yeah, there's those pockets of hidden information that just
Right.
sometimes
You can
AI is
become
not going to
an
be able to
expert in
figure out.
Canva now thanks to AI. You could do geo tracking thanks to AI. But am I talking to somebody who's not been in marketing for 20 freaking years like myself and say you could do that? You're full of crap.
Right. You got to put in
You're
the
not
work
going to figure it
somewhere.
out. You're going to be the dummy that listens to AI the first time, say, okay, this is how it does it. And say, dude, what the hell did you just produce?
Hmm. And
Dribble.
I don't, and I'd also say if your product or service just relies on a Chat GPT wrapper, you're kind of in a bind. You need to create a real learning language model, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not real AI.
See, but see, you're smart enough to do that, dude.
Ostracized.
That's why I'm the media giant, Haley. So my product's my brand first, and my brand is why people buy from me, and then everything else just speaks for itself. That is what you need. Is it you have a brand, you could sell anything, anytime, anywhere, anytime. But that's
That's
something
true.
AI can't create as a brand.
No, that's right. Maybe might get
Then they
real
can. They can
close.
create something it's going to go viral for a while, but it's not going to sustainable for.
But nothing unique, right? Nothing unique and will sustain the test of time. You won't get
Yeah,
that.
but even the person that's created that AI bot, that AI model that's on Instagram making all those followers, if it wasn't for an expert that could do a Instagram, but again, there's still that AI. So, Chris, I think where we've gone in this UX Bright is we're going to create a lot of great clips, but we're going to create a lot of great controversy as well, because some people don't agree with me. People don't, I think AI is God. A lot of people don't.
Yeah,
They're
I
going to be
mean,
in
we
deep
welcome
shit.
the
They're
controversy.
going to
Let's
be in
talk
deep
about it.
shit because they don't think AI is God. Because guess what AI is? If you are smart enough. So, were there any other products you wanted to talk about in today's podcast? You said that you were going to share with us. You talked about the value of a human input. I completely agree with you. What else?
Yeah, I would just otherwise say the value of having a great product marketer on your team, right? And that's what we do here at UX Bright. We're all about just really just, helping you take the entire human experience and translate that over into all the marketing automations and the campaigns and those sort of things. So that's the part of why we're called UX Bright is user experience. We want to start with humans first, right? And we actually look at your, customer purchasing decisions to be like, okay, Neil, as someone who's interested in AI agents, what does it take for you to purchase an AI agent from me, and at what price point, and what are the things that you value the most? We figure that all out for a client, put that all together with our comprehensive strategy, and that's what ultimately helps brands differentiate. And that's why we have to talk about this today, because I was just so tired of AI, of brands and startup owners just throwing their brand in the AI, hoping to God that it was going to solve the
Well,
marketing.
you're going to have to share some of those points another time because I don't know. But what I found out from my client, Muhammad, Dr. Muhammad, he's flat out told me, he said, from Artilla, he straight out said it's the prompter. So, these people, that's why I talked to in our on Savant podcast, that they have created a wrapper that makes it so you don't have to put the time into prompting to train your AI chatbot. It literally could be any of them. It could be ChatGPT, it could be Gemini, it could be all of them.
Yeah.
But if you don't train them, you're not going to get the gold that can
Yeah.
come out of AI.
Yeah. It's a philosophy question. If you don't know which question to answer, how you gonna know the unknown? Right.
And most people can't because most people are terrible researchers when it even comes to Google. So how the hell are they going to figure it out in AI?
Yeah.
They might think of it. They might
So
think they can.
you're saying the cure to this whole AI age is to keep my curiosity and to
Yeah.
continue research and to ultimately use my critical thinking skills even further and help AI to enhance it.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing, Neil. I've learned so much during this podcast.
No, you knew that.
Right? And I think that's going to be the future,
But
right?
but you
Like
but
if
you knew
anything, it
that.
should
But
help
no,
us
but
critical
Neuralink's the
think.
future, and I'm gonna have Neuralink in my brain, so I don't even have to worry. So
Oh,
I'm going to be able to answer a question in 5.2 seconds or in 1 second for you. And I'm just going to be able to pull up ChatGPT in my brain using Neuralink. And I don't even have to.
well, this conversation we're having isn't going to exist. We're just going to boop, and then whatever you had to say to me is done. There is no podcast world that you're in.
For my world, I mean, I wouldn't have to do that search, but then that's the thing. So this is where the last thing for you scientists out there, these geniuses that believe AI isn't going to be smarter than you. you're full of crap. Because all I have to do is put your book in the friggin' AI and they're as smart as you are.
Well, I might, yeah, this is where the controversy, you're definitely right on that one.
No,
You
but
might need
it's not controversy. All you're doing, you're not asking to write the book. You're asking
to-
to be as knowledgeable as that person.
Well, there's
Yeah,
retained there's well, what I think AI models are a sequence of retained knowledge, but we're still the best at critical application knowledge, and that's where, yeah, I think people need to
all
differentiate
right.
the
All
two.
right. So best place to go is uxbright.com.
Yep.
Savantrepreneur.com as well, Chris. Great conversation. Tons of viral videos to be putting out there. But it's just the point. Like I said, we have experienced this, Chris and I, and Chris is more of a technologist than I am. I'm not claiming to be a technologist. I'm just claiming to be who I am. But I'm just telling you, I utilize AI 24/7, 7 days a week. I have still not done it to the point of Muhammad, where he has it on his phone like Siri. I haven't done that on ChatGPT. I will soon be doing
Oh,
that.
interesting.
And then I'm just gonna just have a conversation with AI 24/7. Hey, what do you think here? Well, you could create this. And this is you, the best coach ever is AI for one reason. Guess what? They're gonna tell you you're a superstar. Your coach is not gonna
Yeah.
do that.
And then I could program it to be like
And they're gonna still
Coach
hit you and say you're
Carter
an idiot
or
too. Because I've had my AI as an attorney and they've told me I'm stupid. And I'm like, okay, I won't
yes.
do that.
Yeah.
So we can model on another show, Chris, how prompts for things like you brought up about intellectual property. Let me go in there and do a session and show you what AI can do. But the problem is people can't come up with questions, or they all be journalists.
Exactly. How to
A
prompt,
teacher,
how to
a
actually write
journalist,
questions.
that's me, and that's who I am. So you can become whatever you want to become. When I hear people say there's no chance of becoming successful in the United States today, I say you're full of it.
Oh man,
You have the
I haven't
best
heard that.
opportunity ever in seconds. You just got to put the damn work in.
Yep.
All right. Appreciate it, Chris.